Hello and welcome to the Midday News on VOP TV. I'm Moses Humphrey. In the headlines, Supreme Court affirms Sanwo-Olu's election as governor of Lagos, dismisses LP's appeal. Tinubu can further reduce entourage to 40%. Governors should follow suit. Falana. NJC denies fixing date for swearing in of new Supreme Court justices. Femi Otedola ranks 4th as he reclaims spot on Forbes Billionaires list. Now the news in detail. We'll begin with the breaking news that the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Babajide Sanwo-Olu as governor of Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. Justice Garuba Lawal, who read the lead judgment, dismissed the appeal filed by Gbadebo Rhodes Viver of the Labour Party and Abdulaziz Adeniran of the PDP for lacking merit. The duo, who came second and third, respectively, had challenged the election of Sanwo-Olu on grounds of alleged irregularities, malpractices, non-compliance, as well as non-qualification. They had specifically argued that the deputy governor, who acquired citizenship of the United States of America, is not qualified to contest selective position, and as such, his nomination as deputy governor was unlawful, null, and void. They also argued that his alleged unlawful nomination affects the qualification of Sanwo-Olu. Hence, the court should nullify their participation in the governorship election. But the Apex Court, in a unanimous judgment, held that acquisition of a foreign national does not bar anyone by birth from contesting election. Justice Lawal stated that the only condition a citizen with dual citizenship can lose his right to be elected as governor is when he denounces his Nigerian citizenship, which is by birth. Recall that after the election, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the APC had polled 762,134 votes, while Rhodes Viver, who scored 312,329 votes, came second, with Abdulaziz Adeniran Jandor came a distant third with 62,449 votes. Meanwhile, Kano, Zamfara, Plateau, Ebonyi, Bauchi, and Cross River states are still awaiting their fate. Governors of Kano, Bauchi, Plateau, Zamfara, and Ebonyi arrived at the Supreme Court complex for judgment billed to be delivered in their respective legal battles. They are Abba Kabiru Yusuf of Kano, Bala Muhammad of Bauchi, Caleb Muftwang for Plateau State, and Dauda Lawal for Zamfara, and Francis Nwiferu of Ebonyi State. Former Plateau State Governor and Senator Simon Lalong was also spotted in the courtroom for the verdict. As expected, the governors arrived at the courtroom with a retinue of followers who were, however, turned back immediately after escorting their principals into the courtroom. According to reports, the courtroom is filled by lawyers, journalists, and accredited political party leaders while they wait for judgment's delivery. National Judicial Council (NJC) has issued a statement denying reports that the 11 recently appointed Supreme Court justices will be sworn in on January 16, 2023. According to the NJC, the news informing the public about the purported swearing-in dates of the new Apex Court justices did not originate from the Council or the Office of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and Chairman of the National Judicial Council, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, GCON. The NJC spokesman, Soji Oye, further stated that the actual date for the swearing-in of the justices will be made public when the time was right. He urged the public to ignore the trending news about the January 16 date, as it is fake information. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has asked President Bola Tinubu not to spare anyone found culpable in the alleged scandal involving the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu. Obi made the appeal in a statement via his verified X handle today. The Labour Party candidate noted that the government should go beyond the suspension of the minister and carry out a comprehensive investigation into the matter. He described Edu's suspension as a welcome development, calling on the government to give the problem of public sector corruption severe urgency. Meanwhile, Obi expressed disappointment, saying a ministry created in good faith to attend to the plight of the sufferings of the masses was being turned into a conduit pipe to steal from the poor, as seen in the current and previous ministers of the ministry. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has warned the newly appointed chief executive officers and directors of aviation agencies against any involvement in corrupt activities. Keyamo urged the CEOs of the aviation agencies to carry out their duties to the best of their abilities. He also told the CEOs and directors to resign if their goal in office was to make money and not to serve the Nigerian people. Keyamo stated this today during the official induction ceremony for the newly appointed aviation heads of agencies in Abuja. He stated that some of the key performance indicators of the ministry include ensuring strict compliance with safety regulations, supporting the growth of local airlines operators, developing human capacity within the aviation industry, and generating revenue for the federal government, amongst others. The agencies include the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, and the Nigeria Safety and Investigation Bureau, NSIB. Human rights lawyer Femi Otedola, SAN, has commended President Bola Tinubu's reduction of his travel entourage by 60% or to 60%, but suggested he can still drop it further to 40%. Otedola says it is commendable that the government is starting to cut costs, insisting that there are other areas where resources could be saved from wasting away. The senior advocate also stated that, just like the president, the governors must also reduce their travel entourage, emphasizing the need for sacrifice in the face of a poor economy. Otedola said that it is time for the government to tighten its belts after telling the poor to do same for years. The president, through his spokesperson, Ajorin Galali, had on Tuesday announced a directive which means a 60% slash across the board and affects all MDAs, including the office of the president, vice president, and that of the first lady. You're watching the midday news on VOP TV. More stories after this break. Join us again. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The management of Abia State University, Uturu, has urged members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to shelve their planned industrial action. ASU members had recently threatened to go on strike over 11 months of salary arrears owed to them by the school. However, the university management, in a press release signed by the registrar, Acho Elindo, said going on strike is not the best action for the lecturers, as it would affect the current academic calendar. The university, which said it does not owe the ASU members, stressed that it had been paying their salaries regularly since the present management took charge, adding that the Abia State government has also been regular in the release of monthly subventions. He, however, admitted that the present ABSU management inherited 10 months of salary arrears from the school's previous administration and cleared 5 months of the inherited arrears, with further plans to liquidate the outstanding. The school said that ASU members disobeyed the university's advice by joining the 2022 8-month strike, saying their participation truncated the already planned salary arrears clearance. It further appealed to the lecturers to engage in dialogue and consider the interests of students and the university in general by jettisoning the planned strike. To security matters now, bandits have reportedly abducted 23 residents of Kawu community in Buhari area council of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Abuja. The councillor representing the area, Abdul Mumini Zakari, who confirmed the abduction, stated that the gunmen stormed the community from the Kuyeru forest in Kaduna State and divided themselves into groups. He also noted that some went into the palace of the district head, Alhaji Abdurrahman Danjuma Ali, where they abducted his son, Lukman, and his wife, who he married 2 weeks ago. According to him, the bandits abducted the former PDP chairman, along with his 4 children, adding that the bandits thereafter went into the compound of Sadikin Pawan Kawu, Gambo Power, and abducted him alongside his 2 wives and children. Ebonyi State government, led by Governor Francis Nwifuru, has decried the death of 2 residents at the flyover located opposite the Chuba Okadibo International Airport, Onweke Eza South Local Government Area. It was reported that 2 persons were recently killed by a tanker explosion that occurred at the airport flyover. It took the intervention of the Ministry of Aviation and Transport Technology to put out the fire. The State Commissioner for Aviation and Transport Technology, Ngozi Obichukwu, stated that during the inspection of Chuba Kadibo Airport runway at Onweke-Eza South Local Government Area, it was revealed that the preparedness of the state government to avert a repeat of such incident. Obichukwu reiterated the commitment of the state government to ensure that the airport commenced flight operations by May 2024. In health now, infectious diseases and public health experts have said there is a need for continuous disease surveillance in Nigeria to prevent outbreak of cholera, meningitis, measles, yellow fever, and Lassa fever. According to the experts, virtually every year, Nigeria experiences outbreaks of these diseases, hence the need for early detection, prevention, and control. Experts mentioned that these diseases are referred to as epidemic prone because they come with an increase, often sudden, in the number of cases of infectious diseases above what is expected in a given population in a specific area. A professor of public health at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Tanimola Akonde, said Nigeria had a number of diseases described as epidemic prone, saying that an extra and continuous surveillance to check for their occurrence and control is needed. Cerebrospinal meningitis has killed 190 persons between 2022 to 2023, according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The federal government agency revealed this in a public health advisory released by its Director General, Ifedayo Adetufa. According to the NCDC, 2,765 suspected and 303 confirmed meningitis cases across 140 local government areas in 30 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, in its 2022-2023 statistics. NCDC says the highest burden of CSM in Nigeria occurs in the meningitis belt, which includes all the 19 states in the north, the FCT, and some southern states such as Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Ekiti, Ogun, Ondo, and Osun. Meningitis is an inflammation of the fluid and 3 membranes surrounding one's brain and the spinal cord. In other news, the managing director of National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Bola Oyebamiji, has implemented policies meant to stop the rising number of boat accidents that occur on the nation's waterways. This was revealed by Oyebamiji on Thursday in Lokoja following a 3-day special retreat. According to him, the organization cannot stand by and watch as this pattern of mishap on the nation's waterways continues. In keeping with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's goals, he added that the organization follows a working template and that President Tinubu established the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy because he anticipates that it will boost the Nigerian economy. The 3-day retreat culminated in the signing of performance bond with the managing director, which served as a signal that they had understood the new narrative and were prepared to accomplish the best outcome for Nigeria and NIWA. You're still watching the VOP TV News. More stories from business and sports when we return after this break. Join us again. Well, the federal government said it will tackle some of the challenges observed during the ongoing wheat dry season farming in the 15 participating states. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar, said this yesterday when the governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja. The minister listed some of the challenges to include reported cases of round-tripping in connivance with agro-dealers and poor validation of farmers' data in parts of the participating states. He said addressing these challenges would avoid reoccurrence in the second phase, which will focus on rice, maize, and cassava. The minister also said that the federal government was dedicated to implementing stringent measures in the forthcoming dry wheat season, farming for rice, maize, and cassava to ensure transparent distribution and target genuine farmers. The Kano Electricity Distribution Company says it is seeking $200 million in investment to upgrade its infrastructure and revolutionize electricity distribution for an estimated 25 million Nigerians. Kano Electric is partnering with Black Iron Capital, a Mauritius-based firm, to recapitalize the network and specifically work on the $200 million fundraise for the interconnected mini-grids and embedded generation projects in Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa states. Oku Njoko, managing partner at Black Iron, said that the ambitious plan, championed by the company's core investors, aims to build at least 200 megawatts of incremental capacity through at least 100 mini-grids and embedded generation. Also, Adamu Gumil, chairman of Kano Disco, added that the interconnected mini-grids popping up everywhere in the network in Katsina and Jigawa is to augment electricity supply for consumers while they prioritize bulk grid supply to industrial consumers. He added that the new core investors in Kano Disco have signaled the intent to make Kano Disco the first green disco in Africa through the usage of embedded solar hybrid power plants, mini-grids, energy storage system, ESS, and power purchase agreement with generators with clean energy, such as nearby hydropower plants. Billionaire investor Femi Otedola has become the 4th richest Nigerian on the list of top billionaires with a fortune of $1.2 billion. The recent reassessment follows his ownership of over 70% Geregu Power, a power generation business. Otedola, in the years 2022 and 2023, strategically sold down his Geregu stake from over 95%, welcoming institutional investors into the business. Key investors in Geregu include the Afrixim Fund for Export Development in Africa, the State Grade Corporation of China, as well as some pension funds and institutional investors. Besides his energy ventures, Otedola holds significant real estate assets in Lagos, Dubai, London, and Monaco. He also owns shares in Zenith Bank and FBN Holdings. The evaluation update coincides with Otedola's philanthropic gesture of donating 1 billion naira to the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, underscoring his commitment to giving back. Otedola's financial trajectory has seen him enter and exit Forbes Billionaires list over the years, with his notable inclusion in 2009 and subsequent re-entry in 2014 amid various economic conditions, including the oil price. At least 11 out of the 18 newly elected governors successfully reduced their inherited domestic debts by a significant 111.35 billion naira in the short span from June to September 2023. Now, this drop further contributed to a notable decrease in the collective debt of these 18 governors, witnessing a drop of approximately 46.79 billion naira within 3 months. An analysis of the subnational domestic debt reports, as released by the Debt Management Office (DMO), indicates a downward shift in the total debt figures for these governors. The total debt, which stood at 2.52 trillion naira as of June 2023, saw a reduction of 2.47 trillion naira by September 2023. The total debt of these 18 governors make up 43.03% of the total subnational domestic debt of 5.74 trillion naira by the third quarter of 2023. Conversely, 4 of the newly elected governors recorded an increase in their domestic debt, amounting to 20.56 billion naira during the same time frame. Now, registration for the bank verification number BVN increased to 60.2 million as of January 10, 2024. This was revealed in the latest BVN registration data released by the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS. Nairametrics had earlier reported that as of December 18, 2023, the BVN database stood at 59.9 million. This shows that about 300,000 new registrations for BVN were recorded between late December and early January this year, while registration for the number had been slow throughout 2023. The recent announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria that all bank accounts without BVN would be frozen from April 2024 might have contributed to the increase in registration. In December last year, the Apex Bank also directed commercial, merchant, non-interest, payment service banks, other financial institutions, and mobile money operators through a circular that the BVN, or National Identification Number (NIN), attached to all accounts, wallets, must be electronically revalidated by January 3, 2024. Now to some sports stories. A Super Eagles head coach, Yossi Pacero, has handed a late invitation to Paul Onrachu as a replacement for the injured Umar Sadiq in Nigeria's squad for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Sadiq has been ruled out of the AFCON 2023 finals due to a knee injury. The 26-year-old sustained the injury in Nigeria's 2-0 friendly defeat to the Sile Stars of Guinea on Monday. Onrachu's invitation is now subject to approval from his Turkish club, Trabzonspor. The lanky forward was part of Nigeria's squad to AFCON 2019 finals in Egypt. The 29-year-old missed the previous tournament in Cameroon due to an injury. He has scored 9 times and registered 3 assists in 15 appearances for Trabzonspor this season. The president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, Ibrahim Gusau, has announced the cancellation of salaries for assistant coaches across all national teams. This unprecedented move is part of cost-cutting measures, with Gusau revealing that assistant coaches will now receive an invitational allowance instead. The football chief expressed concern about the number of idle assistant coaches, noting that many were employed without active roles. He emphasized that the new approach aims to ensure that coaches are compensated based on their active involvement, stating, "If we are supposed to pay you 1 million naira, we will pay you 500,000 naira." Gusau highlighted the issue of assistant coaches being appointed in large numbers, leading to many being idle during training sessions. Let's go on to entertainment now. In entertainment, the mother of Davido's child, Imade, Sophia Momodu, has issued a cease and desist order against the singer. In a document through her lawyers, she accused the singer of cyberbullying, harassment, and threat to her life. The document stated that the singer had paid blogs to publish false statements about her. The document stressed that there had been previous emails to the singer's legal team regarding the matter, which had been ignored. Going on, they stated that Davido would be held responsible if anything happened to Sophia Momodu. Sophia's petition comes a day after singer Tiwa Savage wrote a petition to the police against Davido on similar claims. She also alleged that he threatened her life because of her friendship with his baby mama and requested that the Lagos State Police looked into the matter. In response, the police launched an investigation into the matter. Well, popular social media critic, Very Dark Man, has disclosed that Nollywood actress turned to DK should be held responsible if anything happens to him. Recall that the popular blogger known as Very Dark Man was dragged to the police by DK over his claim that the actress and her colleague Yabo Joe's interest in late singer Mohbad's case weren't genuine. However, he was later released after interrogation. Speaking after regaining freedom in a video message shared through his X handle, Very Dark Man alleged that DK has been threatening his life. He stated that he now lives in constant fear. And with that, we wrap up the midday news on VOP TV. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Supreme Court affirms Sanwo-Olu's election as governor of Lagos, dismisses LP's appeal. Tinubu can further reduce entourage to 40%. Governors should follow suit. Falana. NJC denies fixing date for swearing in of new Supreme Court justices. Femi Otedola ranks 4th as he reclaims spot on Forbes Billionaires list. Well, we also must inform you that the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Abba Yusuf of Kano State. Now, that's breaking news just coming in. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Moses Humphrey, but don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms. Up next is Spotlight.